Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to our Siralim Ultimate Let's Play. In this episode, it is time for our first true boss fight of this series. We are going to be facing nether boss Kiichi. Now I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. The nether bosses are basically the same bosses that you fight during the campaign, but they are buffed versions of them. And the game slowly ramps things up. Once you beat all of the nether bosses once, you unlock some new game mechanics, and then you have to fight them a second time. The game unlocks a little bit more, and then after you've beaten them for the second time, which unlocks guilds, which is the final major game mechanic, then the nether bosses from then on will be their strongest and most devastating forms yet. So when we fight these guys now, they will indeed be the same bosses that you'll see if you play the campaign, but rather than being weak versions that are just there to teach you how to play the game, these guys are really gonna be there to test your build, to see if you've actually got what it takes to beat them. And of course, I don't just want to beat them, I also want to beat them on Realm Instability 5 with a with a decent item bonus as well. Now 389% is pretty high. I don't know what the hidden bonuses are. I do know that the hidden realm properties, rather. I do know that property number 1 is very bad, especially. Oh, what did I do? I accidentally changed the realm depth. You only face nether bosses at your highest realm depth. Anyway, what I was saying was, if one of the hidden properties is the realm property Good Luck, which means enemies get one extra reroll in their favor if a roll doesn't go their way, that means this 28% damage reduction will make them very hard to consistently hit. We only have a maximum buff of 1, which hurts Star Pact, which is one of the spells that we use to do damage. Enemies are invisible, which is annoying, but that's something we can deal with. End of turn cast is another thing that can be an issue, especially when paired with the other realm property, which allows enemies to cast multiple times per turn. So we could be walking into a death trap, but you know what, let's just see what we can do. I will try to continue in the same order with the realms, you know, seeing them one by one. So we'll start out going to the Azure Dream, but if it turns out that we're getting our ass handed to us, I may opt to fight this battle on home turf, so to speak. Different realms will give you different ways to shape your encounters with enemies, and I think if it gets too tough, I might retreat to the Arachnid Nest, which is where I feel most at home. But we'll start out with the Azure Dream, because last episode we did go to the Astral Gallery, had a great time. What a run that was. Enemies were just falling over themselves to kill themselves before we even got to them. I don't think we'll be lucky enough to have that happen a second time, but you know what? Enough talking. Let us dive straight in. And immediately, Nemesis to our left, Nemesis to the right, and I'm stuck in the middle with you, I guess. Alright, let's just see. Okay. So these ones are preventing us from gaining stats, which is pretty bad, actually. One of the monsters I mentioned, which will hard counter our build. But I think we're doing okay. Well, we still need to damage them twice. Okay, I only just noticed the realm properties. Extra traits. That is very bad. I do not have high hopes for this run. It seems bad to say this, but this might just be one of those where reduce damage next battle. I mean, that's good, but what I was gonna say was this might just be one of those where we don't have great expectations for actually beating the boss, and we're just trying to smash and grab, see what loot we can find in the realm. But let's see how things go. We've also got a Riddle Dwarf. Forsaken Spine Whipper. Once again, I'm just gonna cheat. Spine, that's a death type enemy. So, we got that. Okay. We picked up a buff. What was it? We were shelled. Not great. What I'll do is I'll get this. We're getting a lot of loot, so chances of finding special items are pretty high. We do get all 5 of our attacks, so let's see how that goes. Wow. You see, they didn't even have good luck, and they resisted so much damage from us. And I think the creatures that they're fused with are helping them resurrect, which is another bit of an issue. Warded is fine. It's okay. Oh, there's a treasure golem. There's our treasure golem. What I'm gonna do is I am immediately going to encounter... okay, this kind of sucks. He's invisible, which means we can't do anything to him yet. Which means... might as well start by casting Arbitration, so that at least our Centaur Duelist can attack him. I'm not gonna... you know what, I'll start by casting Germinate to ensnare him and hopefully send him down the list. I don't have high hopes that we're gonna be able to kill him, even if we do super buff, because of all the garbage that this realm is throwing at us. Yeah, how is he healing? Crazy, how? Oh, it's because of the extra traits that he's getting. This is, yeah. I mean, we just have to hope he doesn't run away when his turn comes. I should have probably frozen him. Oh, okay, he didn't run away. We'll get a chance to kill him, but we're gonna need to land these punches. And if we get unlucky, he'll get another chance. By the way, these enemies, treasure golems and dumplings, are special in that they will mostly be trying to run away. Like, if you find them on the map, they're literally trying to run away. You have to back them into a corner before you can fight them. And then when you fight them, they have a very high chance every turn of actually running away during the fight. And if they run away, you won't get to fight them again. The fight is over. You can reduce their chances of running away by getting certain blessings, by getting favor with the gods at certain ranks. But that's about it. And you can, like, do other things. You can ensnare them. Okay, we landed 2 hits. Okay, I was silent for a moment because the treasure golem has a very hilarious death sound effect. One other thing will happen, excuse me, every time you kill a treasure golem. Well, first of all, you'll get a bunch of experience and treasure. You get this bit of flavor text from the game. Battered, bruised, and mangled beyond recognition, the treasure golem slumps to the ground with each ragged, shuddering breath it takes. You realize it will suffer a long, painful death. And then whichever god is in charge of the realm will comment on that. In this case, Suratli, the goddess of light, says that she thinks she's going to be sick. And she takes back whatever she said earlier about us being a child of hers. Speaking of that, I don't think I went through her dialogue properly. Let's see what she has to say. By the way, like, it's kind of a running joke in the game. Don't take it too seriously when you kill the treasure golem and the god seemingly gets angry at you. It doesn't have any actual impact. That's just a bit of a joke that the game has. Okay, so let's see what Siralim has to say. Through darkness comes light. It's good of you to come here, my child. Okay, yeah, see, so she says my child, and but if you kill a treasure golem, you're a horrible person because the treasure golems were defenseless. They were never attacking you. They were running away. You forced them into a corner and then killed them. So technically, yes, it's an evil thing to do, but you know what? In a game as brutally difficult as this, you've got to do what the ends justify the means, is what I'm trying to say. Did we donate to you, by the way? We did. Oh, I didn't get our donation dialogue. I can see the blessings. I don't think so. Let's just fight. I think we should just use our macro. 3 of them have reincarnation. So if you look at the icons on all these enemies, the first one, the kind of silhouette of a person, that represents invisibility. And then 3 of them have a second one. It kind of looks like a ring. I think it's meant to be a halo. That represents a rebirth. So that means those enemies will at least attempt to come back. I'm hoping our unicorn with its extra trait will be able to shut at least some of them down. Okay, yep, see 1 of them, 2 of them, 3 of them. 3 of them. Yeah, there's the 3rd one. So, I think we shut down one of their resurrections, but then that triggered a corpse explosion, which killed the rest of them. Okay, now we get another buff. Barrier is decent, actually. Okay, another... Hang on. Yeah, one of the realm properties is extra nemesis creatures. So that's why we are fighting so many... And once again, we have a triple revive situation from the enemy. Once again, I am going to try and muscle my way through this fight. Basically, we just need any enemy to die, and then most times, you know, the floodgates will open, corpse explosions will start triggering, and then, you know, the dominoes will fall like a house of cards and other similar figures of speech. But every so often, like I think in this case, there's gonna be enemies left over. Okay, I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, I'm at a bit of a loss. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to resurrect my Dread White. Ooh, my Centaur Duelist has actually done a pretty decent job with his Fury swipes. Come on. All these guys are resisting my damage and really cramping my style. I'm gonna put this guy to sleep. Okay, he healed up annoyingly. But eventually... Oh, didn't mean to go through that so quickly. I think the A key on my gamepad is a bit sticky. Well, I gotta deal with that. We're protected, that's fine. I don't think you can debuff enemies in this realm via the, via the, I guess, the adventure map. You know, the place we're walking around right now where we're collecting buffs for ourselves. In certain maps, in addition to buffing yourself, you can also debuff the enemy. But I don't think you can do that in this map, although maybe at a later favor rank we'll unlock the ability to do so. But for now we can't, which means it's one of the more challenging maps, at least for now, to have serious fight situations on. Okay. I think once... Okay, so these guys don't have resurrections. They also seem to be relatively tanky. So we'll try and just burn through them. Relatively straightforward fight. Okay. Okay, let's carry on. I think we are at our limit in terms of how many buffs we can pick up. The only thing left is the temporary buffs that we can get from going into these portals and fighting those bosses. That'll be a dicey situation. We're gonna have to do it though. Oh no, these enemies are... Well, these enemies are blinking, which means corpse. Okay, this is bad. So one of them has gotten... Well, look at the battle history first. One of them has gotten the stand as one trait. And which one of you has gotten that? Because that is really fucking annoying. Yeah, see, your creatures take 50% less damage, and of the 50% less damage they take, it's spread around amongst their other creatures. It's very difficult to damage them. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to arbitrate, steal that buff from them, and now, okay. They have mending. I'm actually going to cast Defile, which will blight them, which will mean that their healing works against them. Okay, our Centaur Duelist is actually doing very decent damage. And actually he managed to kill one of them. That's amazing. Corpse explosions, despite being debuffed by the blinking attribute, did a pretty good job of finishing them off. Now we just have to wait while they go through their annoyingly long death throes, and I think combat should soon be over indeed. It is. Alright, now we fight this nightmare. The last enemies on the outside map, they are agile. All 6 of them will go before we do. But fortunately for us, they are largely wasting their turns. Okay, I think we'll start like this. I'll start... You know what? I'll start by attacking one of them. Let's see how it goes. Yep. One punch situation. And wipe them all out. Some of them will come back, but it is another way of getting rid of their buffs. Like, if you resurrect, unless you have a very specific thing, you won't keep the buffs that you had when you died. One of our monsters has a trait which allows us to keep our buffs, even if we die. so that when we're resurrected, we keep them. But these guys obviously don't have that. And, oh, you're silenced. Oh, by the way, I mentioned earlier that I'd explain why I had these extra lines in my macro. If this creature is silenced, defend. Just for a situation like this, so that the macro wouldn't, you know, completely break down and force me to do things manually. So now when I hit my macro, the game will understand that I would like to cast Reincarnation on the Dread White, but because I can't, I'm just going to defend. And it happened very quickly, but indeed the Rift Dancer defended. But you can cast Reincarnation, yep. And you can end the fight. That is our last fight in the exterior. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to... So, normally this thing would also give us a buff. And the thing with that thing is, when you interact with it, there's one other interactable in one other realm where a similar thing happens. You'll be forced to fight a party with the same monsters that you have, but not the exact same build. Like, they'll all have the same modifiers that the rest of the monsters have. It'll just be the same creatures, but it's still kind of cool. You're fighting against yourself, essentially. I'm gonna start out with the normal attack, and one of them will actually two of them, potentially three of them, I guess four of them are gonna resurrect. 5 of them, sure, why not? But eventually they will start dying again. Okay, this is a little bit unfortunate that you survived with that tiny sliver of health, but now you're dead again. Corpse explosions took care of you. You're... How many... What the hell is going on? How many times has this guy resurrected? What is your problem? What is your problem? So... He resurrected undeath, rebirth, undeath, undeath. How is he getting... How is he getting that rebirth buff over and over again? That's... Okay, no, we... I was gonna say we've got to... oh. Did we find... I didn't press anything there. It seemed like the game flashed something quickly and then took it away. Was it a... Was it a card? Did we find a card? How many were we at? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at last episode's stats. It surely wasn't a nether stone. Maybe it was. I've got so many, I haven't even looked at them. I'm going to have to freeze that frame to see exactly what the game was trying to show. If it was something new, we'll have to... If it's something significant, I'll pop it up on screen right now. Or if it isn't, I'll leave a message confirming that too. But regardless... we beat that fight, and there's a couple things I want to do. First of all, I want to go into this thing. Now this portal will allow us to find a type of creature that we haven't found yet. So if we go to our bestiary, if we sort by race, I think, and let me okay, so you'll notice race is represented by So class is represented by the thing to the left, so leaf, for example, is nature. But to the right of that is a different icon that represents the race. So these guys share a race. These guys are ants or electropods, they share that race, and so on. These guys, while I guess their races vary among all kinds of things, like here's a humanoid kind of, here's a bipedal dragon, here's a fish, but they all have the same icon. They are exotic creatures. And the way you find exotic creatures is you come into those rainbow portals like we just entered, and you'll have a bit of a boss fight. But the main goal isn't the treasure chests on the left and right, which is, you know, the usual draw. What's going on? Anyway, what I was going to say, the main thing isn't the treasure chests on the left and right, which is what you usually are hoping to find when you go into these boss fight situations. In this case, the main draw is finding one of these exotic creatures which will be added to your bestiary and then also available for you to summon as one of your own creatures, if you so choose. Oh, there are some things. Some things. Like, this is why I hate fighting monsters when they have extra traits. It's like, you never know what kind of garbage is gonna happen. Now, our Rift Dancer is confused. That's what that green question mark icon means. But it shouldn't stop her from correctly casting this. Oh. I used the macro wastefully. I shouldn't have used that. But it's okay. I think we'll still be fine. And in this case, we got Avion. And we also get these treasure chests. Like, you might find something nice inside them. But the main goal in that little encounter was getting that creature. Alright, now we do this fight to get the temporary buff, and then we'll go fight the nether boss. This is a Nephilim sorcerer. They're all invisible again, but you made the fatal mistake of losing your invisibility, so let's see what that has done for us. Doing not a lot of damage. I would have hoped that we could do more damage to... Oh, I cast the wrong spell. I cast Arbitration. I am choking hard, and we're not even at the nether boss yet. I wanted to cast Reincarnation. Maybe I should have cast Contagion. Oh, I should have cast Contagion. Because they've got a bunch of... So... The status effects with that brownish outline. So for example, the enemy right at the front, in the middle, he's got 3 of them. And the one on the top right has like 2 of them, and then a regular buff on the right. Those are minions, and they can do some pretty bad things. Each minion has its own set of complications, but if we cast Contagion, those minions will be replaced by random debuffs. Okay. Okay, this fight is partially due to the enemy, partially due to my own mistakes, proving to be a bit of a struggle, but I think now we might be fine. Unless they mysteriously resurrect. Which, of course they do. Of course they do. Why would I... Why? Oh, what happened? My animators punched my own ebony end because of some stupid spell they cast. After resurrecting, no less. I thought I'd killed them. Oh god, extra traits is the worst. Honestly, this isn't just me being salty. I honestly think it should be removed from the game just because it leads to it. Like I mean we won, but like it just leads to situations that are impossible to plan for, and I'm fine with losing because I made a mistake, because there was something I had to learn, I had to adapt, but sometimes when every enemy, that's the potential of 24 extra traits that you have to deal with, sometimes the combination of traits will just land you into something that you could have never won. And then you can't even plan for that because next time they'll have different traits. So anyway, that's a minor rant. So we're gonna be fighting our nether boss now. There's plenty in this realm that we haven't encountered yet. But, you know what? We've got to go take our lumps. I don't expect us to win, but here goes. We're fighting Kiichi. Kiichi's eyes light up fiercely with the recognition upon your approach. What is she doing here? She must have escaped from Apocrynox's grasp. Apocrynox being the god of the realm that you originally fight this monster in the campaign. With an apparent lust for vengeance, Kiichi lunges forward and attacks. Okay, we are moving first, for whatever that's worth. Let's read Kiichi's traits. Enemies always have bleeding. After anyone takes bleeding damage, all enemies take bleeding damage. Enemies' bleeding damage is based on its highest stat instead of health. Enemies take damage from bleeding one additional time. And then a bunch of extra garbage. Okay, how are we going to, well, let's just start with our regular, we're doing no damage to them. And yeah, see, there's the bleed. I think we're just gonna be wiped. We're just gonna be wiped. Our Dreadwhite came back and resurrected everyone, but I think we're screwed. Yep, we're dead. There's nothing we can do. Yep. It was academic. There's nothing we could have done. I expected this. So here is what I'm gonna do. I knew before I fought this boss, I knew from the first 2 times fighting her that she would be doing heavy bleed damage to us. Now, there are a few ways that I looked up even before I started this episode. Like, what would I do if the bleed turned out to be a bit too rough? Now, there are 2 traits. One of them is cauterize the wound, where for a single creature, bleeding will heal them instead of damaging them. But that only applies to a single creature. There's a second one called Triple Suns, which might be the one that I go with, where Triple Suns. And we have that material as well, fortunately. Your creatures take 90% less damage from bleeding, poisoned, burning, and bomb. I think this is the one we're gonna use. What I'm gonna do is, first of all, First of all, hang on. I want to remember which trait material it was that gave us goad. A duelist rapier, which we have 5 of. Okay. Duelist rapier, and what was it that gives us triple suns? Duelist rapier and blazing energy. Duelist rapier, blazing energy. So for one battle only, it's a bit wasteful, but I'd rather do this than craft a whole new item. For one battle only, I'm gonna replace Duelist Rapier. By the way, we've lost this, it's gone. In order to get gold back, we're gonna have to use that material again. For one battle only, I'm gonna replace the Duelist Rapier with Blazing Energy. And why do you have attack damage as you're never attacking? I clearly initially built this artifact for a different creature and then give it to the Rift Dancer, so let's fix that as well. Let's get rid of this, because she's never really attacking, right? So we're gonna into that. We're gonna socket some other stuff. What do we want? We could give her less damage. Lighted, blind. All these things are on dealing damage. Honestly, let's just go with additional spell gem slots sounds pretty good. And then we'll I don't even know what spells I would like to give her, but we'll worry about that later. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. I think I'm going to go into the Arachnid Nest, and I'm going to still try to do this at above 300% with, you know, Realm Instability 5. Okay, that sucks. I hate protected enemies with a vengeance, because look at this garbage. Oh, and enemies are fused with Reapers, which is a horrible, horrible enemy for them to be fused with. I just have half a mind to just forfeit, but let's try to make something happen. Gems sealed after casting is a bunch of garbage as well. But even with all of this garbage, it's still better than 4 extra traits. Okay, so we took care of that nonsense. Okay. I was hoping we could have a straightforward just gain our buff with no problems, but we're gonna fight a relatively not too bad fight. Ooh, well, you know, this certainly lifts my spirits a little bit. We found a card. That actually does make me feel much better. Even if we lose, at least we found something. Okay, so far so good. I'm a little contemplative right now because I don't know how this is gonna go. Oh, one other thing I haven't drawn your attention to yet is the 4th realm property, stats are swapped, which means we don't even know what sort of an enemy we're going to be fighting. By the way, we should donate, of course, every chance we get. I'm not doing a mimic fight. I will take free loot, thank you. There's our nether boss. Before I fight the nether boss, I want to get as strongly buffed and my enemies as... Oh, why... Agile, seriously? Okay, let's get them out of the way. Oh my god, extra attack. Please attack the Dreadwhite. Or just miss your attacks, that works too. That works too. Yeah, I'm just gonna use the macro. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Definitely could have been a lot worse. I'm gonna punch you. Maybe I should have used my macro. Probably should have done reincarnation, but maybe not quite. Bloodburst, maybe something like no. Bloodburst would only be on the enemy we attacked, who was already dead. But you fucked yourself by attacking the wrong unit. Good job, moron. Now you're all dead. Well, a couple of you are gonna come back like a bunch of dickheads, but hopefully will be banished immediately back into oblivion. There you go. Get lost. Get wrecked. I don't know why I'm in such an aggressive, combative mood. Ooh, there's a master as well. Who I guess we'll deal with. I shouldn't be getting into extra combat when the only reward is like favor. Yeah. I mean, not that there's any danger of losing, but the main focus of this mission is to get the nether boss done. Alright, 3 more enemies and a master. Mainly, I'm just running around hunting down all of the buffs and debuffs. And, you know, the free loot. The one where it's not gonna end up being combat. Technically, any chest could end up being combat. It could be a mimic. But chances are pretty low. So I'm not too worried about opening most... Oh, this is great. Greedy means they will drop extra items. You know what? I'm gonna cast Contagion. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna try and kill them like this. So they have a minion type, the one on the right, called Ridelings, where if you do direct damage to them, they will debuff you. However, the type of damage that we just killed them with was indirect damage, so that did not proc. See, in this game, you gotta sometimes think on your feet. These guys shouldn't be a problem. I'm just gonna try and kill them the same way. Okay. Okay. Getting there. Enemies are sleeping and blighted. Could end up being crucial. But they don't have any heal synergies. So it's not gonna help us out too much. You guys are Hex type enemies who will be poisoned and bleeding. Yeah, let's just try and kill you the old-fashioned way. And let's just wait for the game to confirm that we have indeed won. Animatus died. We'll come back to life before the game announces that we've won. This is the one downside to this build, is that there's a lot of redundant stuff that will keep happening because it's scripted to happen. All these actions, all those stat gains, even after the enemies are dead. I think that was the mimic that we said we didn't want to fight, so we'll leave it alone. Pick up this stuff, and before we fight the another boss, we might as well fight a bunch of bats. Bats should... Why are they taking damage? Bleed and poison. Okay, that's understandable. Can we just wipe them out? Bats typically don't have that much health. And I think that's the end of them. We're victorious. Okay. So our bat mastery is now 4. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, that's pretty good. But the main... Oh, well, there's a whole section over here which we might as well look in. Oh, hey, we found a skin. I was wondering when we'd find one. Now, this skin unlocks... obviously, skins unlock alternate costumes. But this one, I believe... I forgot what it was called. It was something energy, ultimate energy... Energy being? I think this one. I know it was definitely Sorrel, the creature. But it's a skin for one of the god... one of the avatar... One of the god spawn, right. So each god will have a special creature that you can unlock if you pay them. And then those creatures also have a bunch of alternate skins. And I've been finding a lot of them, even for, god spawns that I haven't unlocked yet. Which is fine, Eventually we will unlock everything. And I think for those you can find the skins in any random source of loot, whereas for other monsters, typically you'll be finding the skins by fighting them. Anyway, let's die to Kiichi again. I've already read our text before. This time we didn't take bleed damage, which is fantastic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start out. The order in which we do things is important. I'm gonna start out by getting rid of your minions with contagion. You're also debuffed. And the Centaur Duelist has taken a bunch of attacks. Even though they're not doing damage, having him get his attacks off is pretty important. But having done your attacks, the next thing I want you to do is to just use the macro. Yes, that's what I need you to do. What? Did I not equip the, yeah, I was saying, did I not equip Triple Suns? Why are we taking so much bleed damage? It's because we raised our maximum health, but our current health didn't go up. That is brutal, but that means with you, we have to cast Archangel's Blessing. We have to do it. We have to do it. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. Okay. This is a bad time to be us. We are blighted as well. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to attack Kiichi. Solid hit. Did a lot of damage. With you, I'm actually I'm gonna cast Archangel's Blessing again. Oh no, we're blighted, so we lose health instead of gaining it. What just happened? Excuse me, what? What happened? What? I am genuinely at a loss. I was fully expecting to lose, but okay. So in this game, because of the RNG and because of the way these extra realm properties from realm instability can interact with the traits monsters already have, there are two main types of surprises that you'll have during combat. The first one is the obvious kind, where you expect that you're gonna win, but the enemies thwart you because they had some weird hidden synergy, and like they blindsided you, there was nothing you could do. The second kind of surprise is the one that we just got right now, where you are 100% sure that you're about to lose, but then somehow, for reasons that are completely beyond your comprehension, you actually end up winning. And that's what happened to us just now. And in either situation, when that happens, what you should do, like whether it's something that like the game has surprised you with something that seems either miraculous or disastrous or somewhere in between, what you should do is check the battle history. Just to see what exactly happened. Okay, so the Ebony Ant was killed. Dreadwhite cast Archangel's Blessing. Animatus took damage because of Blight. Dreadwhite recovered health normally. Both of us gained some buffs. So far, so good. The Dreadwhite took a bit of damage because he shared the damage that the Animatus took. Then Kiichi took some damage, some bleed damage, and some poison damage. Then Kiichi attacked my Animatus. Okay. So Dreadwhite took some of that damage because of Forged by Pain again. Then the Animatus took some damage. Then the Maniacal Ghoul took a bunch of bleed damage. The Dreadwhite dodged. The Maniacal Ghoul attacked a random target. Oh, here's what happened. So my Animatus was one hit killed because of decapitation. Let's get to the bottom of what happened. What is decapitation? Well, it's a trait. Let's read how it works. Decapitation. Where are you? There you are. No, it's a Blood Reaper trait. After this creature kills an enemy with less than 35% health, your creatures recover 200% health. So that is a Reaper trait. So normally, that should have gained them a lot of health, but they were all blighted. So instead of gaining 200% health, they lost health. Look at that. 17.3 million, 11 million. I didn't even realize blight was going to be a factor in this fight. Is it one of the it's one of the realm traits that we put, but I remember when we got it, I'm like, yeah, you know, they don't have any any heal synergies, so that's not going to help us too much. But it turned out they did have one because they were fused with Reapers. And go to our bestiary. Sorting by race, so let's find the Reapers. The Blood Reaper. One of them was fused with the Blood Reaper, and that creature like, it was their own bad luck that that creature was the one that happened to attack my animators when he had less than 35% health. And you know what the funny thing is? I think the only reason my animators had less than 35% health was because I made the mistake of using Archangel's Blessing while he was blighted, so he lost health instead of gaining it. I think without that, he would have stayed alive to this guy's hit. Some different enemy would have killed my animators. We would have lost that fight. So that was a real roller coaster of a boss fight. But we ended up winning. That was also the realm quest, by the way. So we get a bunch more piety. Ooh, and we can turn in the quest to set up our life guild. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save that for the next episode. Because I am wiped out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explore the rest of this map. And I'm just going to pick up everything. We'll even fight that mimic. Pick up the rest of this stuff. Oh! We could have had one more debuff on our enemies. I was a bit too trigger happy. But well, like, we ended up winning. I mean, I shouldn't be that cavalier about it. We ended up winning through a fluke. And Snared could have helped us win a bit more legitimately. So that not fully searching the realm was a bit of a misplay, because we could have definitely been a bit more sensible about how we went in. Alright, what else? We're really close to the next favor rank as well. By the way, if we look at my blessings of the... well, there's a... I don't know if I can easily find a list which shows me what my favor rank is with all the gods, but the point I was trying to get at is my favor rank with this particular god will be higher than all of the others, just because this is the realm I go to when I'm having a difficult nether boss fight, because I like the realm things we can do. Like, we can boost our health, which boosts our damage, because a lot of our damage is based on the Dread White damaging enemies based on a percentage of its health, and then we get to buff and debuff enemies, and then we get some other random stat bonuses on top of that. So really good collection. Alright, let's take this mimic down. Yeah, I think you also took blight damage? No, bleed and poison. Bleed and poison. Let's just punch you. Why are you so tanky, man? What's your problem? Let's... what? What did I do with you? I must have accidentally... done, like, obviously I used the wrong command because you didn't do what I wanted you to do. Let's try and wrap this up as quickly as we can. I think this is gonna be the end of you. Alright. Let's collect our loot and let us leave. Anything else? One last look around? Nope. No? No. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. I'm not going to hand in this project just yet. Like I said, I'll do that next episode. For now, let's just breathe a sigh of relief. We beat our first nether boss. It was a real tough fight. One thing I am going to do, though, I'm going to go straight back to you. I am going to unsocket Triple Suns, because we're not going to need another one for a while. I think it'll be a very long time before we fight Kiichi again, and I don't think there's anything else where I'm going to be worried about bleed in particular. So I'm going to socket it once again with the Duelist Rapier. here. And so we're back to our old build. Okay. So that's the last thing I wanted to do, and now it is time to wrap up. Yeah, we did it. We fought our first nether boss. It was tough. We had to change up our build on the fly, but in the end, we did it. 1 down, 34 more to go, but it feels good. It feels like I've beaten this boss for the first time, and all the previous times I fought didn't count because those were just dress rehearsals. Those were against weak versions of this boss. This is the only one that truly mattered, and the only one that I truly wanted to have on record, and that's why I started this series at this realm depth, fighting the bosses as I believe they're meant to be fought in their strongest possible incarnations, and we took down our first one. Admittedly, you know what, I'm not going to just disregard the fact that we got lucky. We did get lucky, but sometimes, you know, a bit of luck goes your way, and you don't have to feel bad about it, because plenty of times it's gonna go in the other direction, where through no fault of your own, the game will screw you. So every once in a while, where you do win a fight that you didn't necessarily deserve to, just consider it, you know, as things balancing out. Yeah, let's look at it that way. But regardless, it does feel good, and we did go in with a build that had the capacity to fight him. Even if ultimately he was wiped out by one fluke, we were doing proper damage to him. And even if we had to go back a third time, I think we could have put up a serious challenge. So, you know, we won't get to test my theory, because we won't get to fight this guy again for a long time, but I do believe that we had a strong build. But yes, that is enough talking. It is time to bring things to a close. Thank you so much for watching. When we come back, we'll have to do a few things. We'll have to set up our life guild. I'm very excited about that, because while we unlocked guilds as a game mechanic upon me beating Realm 215, which was before we even started the series, this is the first time that I'll actually be setting up the guild. Prior to that, I was just collecting materials for it. So that'll be fun. I haven't spoiled myself too much on it, so I don't know fully. I know a little bit about what guilds are about, but I don't know fully how they work. So if it's new to you, it'll be new to me too. Excited about that. And then of course we'll be doing some more we'll be diving deeper and ever deeper into these realms, and eventually, you know, fighting the next nether boss and all that good stuff. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a good time. Hope to see you in the next one. And until then, take care.